Thank you for inviting us to come and be a presentation here. Just quickly, how many of you think that memory is a constant that doesn't change? Just raise your hands. Okay. How many of you think that memory is something that can be improved upon? Raise your hands. Okay, very good. What we do as a business is we have people with different degrees of performance, and we improve their cognitive function.
Which one is it? It's the green button here. Oh, no, not that one. That one, the big one.
Okay. You guys already believe what Peter Thiel would say. What is a belief that few others have? In the medical world, actually, few people believe that memory can be improved. Few people believe that attention, other than with drugs, can improve that cognitive domain as well. As it turns out, there are multiple processes of increasing your memory, increasing your processing speed, attention, and other cognitive processes. How do we do this? We increase power, because this is a measure of energy measured in milliamps. We have equipment to measure those milliamps very precisely, and we have processes of comparing an individual's brain power to a standard to very exact levels, to the 1% and in standard deviations. We also can increase the synchrony of that process by both amplitude training and by a particular method called coherence training, in which we can identify which areas in the brain are not communicating well, and then we can reward that communication. In terms of power production, it turns out in our clinic that we have seen that particularly lowering homocysteine and selected vitamin supplementation will increase power. We found that specific probiotic formulations increase power. We find that reductions in pollutants such as PCBs and brominated bioretardants improve brain power. We've also seen that specific reductions in inflammation, either fluid antibodies or infections dentally, change brain power. And we also can improve nitric oxide formation and improve brain power. Believe it or not, we also have devices, and I'll show one here, that use pulse electromagnetic frequency to directly increase brain power. The second way we have is with amplitude training and synchronization and coherence training. My wife's a neurotherapist, a registered nurse, and we're able to look particularly at particular areas in the brain and overall in order to make a treatment plan. Coherence training, it has a 95% response rate. This was developed by Rob Coben, who's a partner with us. It is effective for treating autism, specific types of localized seizures, developmental trauma, and learning disabilities. So let's just give a case of this. This is a 30-year-old man. He is actually a rocket scientist. He has a stressful situation at work. And we did a cognitive test here, which doesn't cost a lot, is portable. It's something that actually many of you could bring into your practices to demonstrate gain by the health interventions that you do. And what we see here is that, and he passes all the validity indexes. His composite memory is 1%, his verbal memory is 1%, his visual memory is 12%, his complex attention and cognitive flexibility are 1 to 2%. He has a frontal lobe problem. We would say, hey, if we just looked at this, that he had dementia. But this is the effect of stress. We performed 20 sessions of alpha theta training using some equipment that we have. We have 3 different types of equipment. He can continue to exercise, minimize his alcohol, and did specific multivitamin supplementation. And now his neurocognitive index is 58%, and he has improved dramatically those other domains. I would tell you this is all our traumatized children. This is what our veterans look like, and it doesn't have to be that way. Next case is a 70-year-old man who lives on a farm by himself. He takes supplements and medicines that are directed, and we used a PMF device that's commercially available, and we did a crossover where we measured him here, he used a device, again we measured him here, he did not use a device, he went down, and he used a device again, he went up. This is a device, it's a simple battery-powered device, it produces a particular programmable frequency. I didn't want to go into all the electronics of it or who did it. I'm happy to talk with you about it. Another physician designed this, sent it to us. Here's what happens with his memory, and you can see in each of these domains the lower scores when he wasn't using it, and then the higher scores were when he was using it. And I've used this with subsequent patients. It's a class 2 device, so it's not a direct wiring device, but it does suggest that we can directly give power to the brain to improve memory. So these are some ways that we can do this. I'm open to other questions. I know it's a lot, but thank you for coming to hear me.